Now, okay. Wait a minute. Wait. Not yet. I got to share my screen, and I'm gonna put this. Okay. Let's talk about it. Come on, let's talk about it. Yeah. Come on, let's talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Come on, talk about it. Yeah. Talk about it. Can you get out of my screen? Hello, somebody. Somebody say hello.
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 Speak to the people while this is coming.
We want to thank everyone for coming in and joining us on tonight.
We're excited. We're getting ready to, it's moving a little slow, but we're just going to kind of flow with it. I'm going to tell you in just a few minutes when you can like show all of your teeth and everything. Um, we're officially going live now. Let's go. I'm going to play through this one more time, guys. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. We're live. We're live.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to talk about things that we do to damage our hair and our scalp. I'm Marguerite Moten. I'm a hair loss practitioner in your Fredericksburg, Virginia area. Welcome.
Welcome. Keep talking.
So today we want to pinpoint on some things that you may be doing to damage your hair and not realizing these things that you're putting onto your hair that's causing damage, and things that you could possibly prevent from damaging your hair, and what's important to use and what not to use. Some things that we possibly think is good for us, that's hidden chemicals that's in the products that we're using, for one. And sometimes in using wrong shampoos can cause us to damage our hair also. And the things that we wear on our hair tends to dry our hair out. So
Can I intercept just a little bit?
yes, ma'am.
I love this topic that you brought to us. And before I let you go too far in it, I'm gonna take a little time to allow you to kind of introduce this panel for those that are just tuning in, and probably this may be their first time seeing us. Um, and so, can y'all hear me good?
Now we can.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, we got this new mic. Had to check it out. But anyway, check this out. I would like for this topic is really a good one. But I want people to get to know this panel. I've got heard some comments about this panel, and I'm proud to be a part of all of you. And I'm most gracious to listen to you all each week with topics that help me as a professional to do better and to be better in what I do. And so I just want us to, before we get into the meat of this thing, let's kind of introduce ourselves to the world, to those that are looking, okay? I am Dr. Suzette Robinson. I am a certified trichologist and educator. I love what I do. And many of you all that have seen us can tell all of us on this panel, we love what we do. We love information. We love learning and we love giving information. And so I want you to meet everybody else that's on this panel besides me. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk it out. Let's do it.
Good evening. I am Dr. Hill, and I'm also a certified trichologist and educator in the Fredericksburg area. I also love what I do, and I do it well. I love it.
Okay. I love how you said that I do it well. Okay. Somebody else. Come on, girls and guys.
All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Shanae Starnes, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist, a board certified trichologist, and a newly owner and director of the Science of Trichology Institute. And what I do is I enjoy helping purpose-driven women find solutions for hair loss. I'm excited to be on the panel today.
Wonderful. I love it. Love it.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Carmelita Stevens. I am located in Charlotte, North Carolina, salon owner, educator, and stylist at Hair Rehab Studio, where we are rebuilding, renewing, and restoring women to life through healthy hair care. I am glad to be here to offer expertise. I'm also a licensed or certified, hair loss practitioner as well, and glad to be a part of this panel to help and further educate and spread the truth about our industry.
Wonderful.
That's good. That's good.
All right, and I am Dr. Rashawn Broadnex here in the Washington, D.C. area, our great nation's capital. I am a hair loss specialist as well as a non-surgical hair replacement specialist here helping men and women find solutions to their hair loss issues, be it regrowth, ooh, the words just left me.
That's okay.
Regrowth options or temporary options while we are in the regrowth process. So I'm here again in the Washington, D.C. area, and at this time I will turn it over to our lovely Marguerite Moten, who is our facilitator for this week. We are so excited. Everybody give her a round of applause.
Yes.
All right, Marguerite, what do you have for us?
Well, first we want to talk about the things that we do to damage our hair. I mean, the things that clients do that damage their hair.
Okay.
So one of the key points that I have brought up is what they use when they're going to sleep. What are you using when you're going to sleep after you got your hair all done? What are some of the things that could cause the hair to damage? What type of scarves or bonnets and things of that nature, and the fabric that you're using? A lot of times clients, they use like the cotton bandanas, and they don't realize that it's causing their hair to dry out.
Okay.
And but when it dries out, it starts to break, get brittle, get dry, and it breaks.
Okay.
So that's one of the key points that that I found out that they use that don't realize that it's causing damage.
So if that's the case, what are some of the things that a person should be using?
They should be using like satin pillowcases or satin bonnet or something like that to help hold in the moisture. Those are basic.
Go ahead, Dr. What were you going to say?
I was saying silk or satin will actually be good. And even though, like I tell my clients to, a lot of times, you know, they say, well, it'll slide off. And I tell them to actually like get maybe a silk or satin pillowcase. So that way, you know, because at night we toss and turn. So that way, you know, if you have something silk or satin, it'll be more smooth as we toss and turn. Because if you have anything that has cotton or rayon or nylon, when you toss it, it pulls and it'll have that static. And that's when you would have that breakage and you have that static in your hair. It looked like you just stuck your hand in a socket. you know, you start looking like a porcupine when you wake up in the morning. So that tends to have a lot of breakage coming up the hair shaft, you know, and then when you go to, you know, wrap it or anything like that, next thing you know, you got so much breakage coming up your hair shaft and they just prolong and keep doing it. Next thing you know, you're going to want to have to, you know, cut it. So a lot of times I try to tell my clients to, you know, to wrap it. So definitely do something silk or satin to keep that moisture in.
And just to add on to what you were saying, Dr. Hill and Marguerite, the silk and satin are the closest fibers that we have to our hair fibers. So,
right.
You know, if you can't find the satin, the silk, if you can't find the 100% silk, that's why the satin as well, those two are good for us.
And
that's also, I'm sorry.
No, I was saying like sometimes they do say that their bonnet or whatever falls off, and you know the bonnet. I like to use the bonnet because for one, sometimes you know if you take and tuck and bend the bonnet upside down where the elastic is and kind of tuck it, it has some more support with the hair bonnet. And another thing that people tend to put on their hair when they go to sleep is bobby pins. I'm not too fond on wrapping your hair and putting the bobby pins in because for one, you know, over time when you use those bobby pins, you see the chemicals and it kind of fall off, you know, the coating comes off. Yes, it comes off. And what is it doing to the hair itself? You know, so that's one thing that, you know, these are some of the things that I don't suggest, you know, when they're going to sleep and, you know.
Well, and then with the bobby pin, those bobby pins, and that was a big thing, especially coming from New York. You know, we would do doobies and we would get the big bobby pins and we would wear the bobby pins in our hair. Like I've done it. So we would wear the bobby pins, we would wrap it and we would have the bobby pins and we would leave them in forever. But, you know, after a while, you know, if you leave them in too long, it will leave an indentation in the hair. And then it'll be hard to get that indentation in the hair. So after a while, you would actually cause breakage, you know, because you're leaving an indentation in it. And then once it sit there for so long, and then you go back and try to get that bent out with the flat iron, next thing you know, it then popped off.
Right.
You know, so yeah, you can't, and that another thing with the bobby pins when we do the ponytails. And that's why a lot of times when you take the ponytails out, we would put those bobby pins in. Next, you know, they balled up on the top because we would put those bobby pins in there. And after, you know, you're scratching and you're rubbing, and the hair is gone once you take the ponytail.
Right.
So yeah, you gotta be careful with those bobby pins.
Well, you know what? Think about it too. When you were talking about the satin and the silk, I'm gonna throw a wrench in the wheel.
Uh-oh. Okay, Doc. Look, now you will. Here we go.
I know. I learned this from
nice and early. The wrench is coming early.
I mean, come on. Okay. What about the people that are still using the stocking caps? How do you guys feel about that? Because I'm just gonna be real. People are still wearing stocking caps. They still putting it on their head. And how do y'all feel about that?
Well,
don't all y'all speak at the same time?
I'm not fond on the stocking cap for one, even though it has little fine holes in it. But one thing that people fail to realize, they wear those stocking caps till there's no end. So over time, it started to have buildup on it because they don't wash it for one. They don't clean it. They don't exchange it. They exchange their wig, but don't exchange their cap. and you got all that buildup and all of that piling up. So what else you gonna have? Breakage after a while, right?
What
So those stocking caps, they think it's good. It's good for that moment in that time, but not to be used all the time, constantly, back to back without exchanging it, or, they stretch out for one. You would think when they stretch out, they'll go ahead and get rid of it and get a new one, but they don't.
Well, see, this is my point. I want you to look at it this way. You have a stocking cap. I'm not just talking about just to wear wigs. Hear me good.
Mhm.
I'm talking about when they are going to sleep and they're just putting it on. When I was growing up, I used to wear a stocking cap. I ain't gonna act like I did. I used to wear a stocking cap. There may be some old pantyhose or some go
You
real.
used to put it on there, wrap it around.
We go
Yeah.
old fashioned, and to make sure
You didn't have a scarf, you wrap it around, cut it.
legs, and then I wrapped them.
Yeah, I did it.
So we have learned better, but y'all, when we telling people that they no longer need to wear these things, like Marguerite was saying earlier, you have to give people the reasoning why you're saying this. Because, and I put that in there for this reason. There are people that have worn it from generation to generation to generation to generation, and I don't care what you say, they're going to still put that on. But they need to know the danger. We did things from years ago because that's what we were taught. And some of our people bald early. Some of our people did this, did that, even use different chemicals because my mama used, my grandma used it, her grandma. Don't mean that what they were doing then was correct. But when you're bringing it to the light, like what we're doing today, you need to give them a legitimate reasoning to why you say they no longer need to wear those.
Well, I know with the stockings, especially now, like with the stockings, they were spraying stuff on the stockings. Like, well, I can't remember exactly. I would have to research it again. That they were putting a certain chemical where they were not supposed to run anymore.
Right.
Or something. So that's definitely, I wouldn't want to put that on my head.
No.
And I can't remember exactly what it was because I don't even wear stockings. I never did, but I did put them on my head back in the day. I can't stand stockings. Lord knows I can't. But I have put a pair on my head. But yes, I'm sorry. I do not wear stockings. I did, even when I was working in the corporate world, I couldn't stand it. But
what about when you go to church, Pam? You don't wear stockings?
No, I do not. I'm sorry. Bare leg, baby. Bare leg. Put the bed up, bare leg. But when I was growing up, and my mama did put the tights and all that stuff on. They couldn't stand them. I would put holes in them because I didn't want to put them on my leg. But I know they used to put some type of chemical or whatever on them for them not to run, to get any, runs or anything on them. So that's something definitely that you don't want to put on your head, with you sweating or anything. And I tell my clients also when they go to get wigs, when you go home, you need to be taking that off. Mm-hmm. If your significant other don't know, you need to let them know. Because when you get home, you need to take this off. Go to Walmart or fabric store, get you a yard of material, cut it in half, get you 2 scarves, tie it up cute, do something. But you need to go home and take this wig and this cap off the minute you get home because you're suffocating your follicle. You need to take this stuff off. You need to take it off. So we got to make sure our clients understand the damage that they're doing when they're leaving this stuff on, and especially when they're not properly cleansing it. They need to be cleansed. They need to be changed out. You can't constantly keep wearing the same little $1 wig cap constantly. You cannot. I know I have some clients say, this is time to go. And when my clients come in, I toss it. I'm like, oh, you was looking for that? You don't have it. I throw it in the trash. Like when they come in and I take it and they got a little hole, I throw it in the trash. I don't even give it back. I throw it in the trash. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you want that. Get another one. Because it's just like, there's no need for it. What are you doing with it? It's old. It's greasy. It's like, come on. You got to let it go.
But then you know the stocking cap, it rubs your edges for one.
Yes.
It
Yes.
rubs your edges. It's not good for your edges because if you think about it, look at it. The stocking cap have this thicker rim around the
Around the-
outer rim for to go around your edges, your outer area, and then the middle part is kind of sheer almost. But you have that thick band around your edges. It's only causing harm and damage to your edges because it's constantly rubbing.
That's good. That's good.
Right.
I'm
You know
glad
what?
you
I'll
said
tell you for something else that you could use is what I suggest is now you guys know what a peg is. Well, we
Yeah.
call it a peg. Is that what it's called, a peg? But anyway, peg is like when you go to the shoe store,
Yeah.
Right.
you do that
Mhm.
little stocking, so
Mhm.
that you don't end up having that band, right?
Right.
Right.
So
Mhm.
Right.
I tell people you either try to get you a box of pegs,
Right.
you take
Fold it.
that cap and cut that band off because really
Right.
what you want is just a barrier between your hair and your wig, right?
Yes, sir.
And so
Mhm.
to me, it doesn't have to be tight on your head. It
Right.
can be loose on there because your wig should be fitted anyway. You're
Right.
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 shaking and moving.
Right.
Or I say your head shouldn't be shaking and moving inside the wig.
Right.
So everything need to move together if it's going to move. So you just need that something as a barrier in between. So that is a solution for
That's good.
somebody who may say,
That's
you
good.
know, I like my wig, I like my little stocking cap. What can I do?
Yeah.
It off because again, you only need a barrier between your hair and the wig to just prevent the wig from causing any additional breakage. But then I want to ask you this in terms of this is not the monkey wrench that comes later.
I know it's coming though.
Since we started talking about wigs, what do you guys think about those who are using adhesives? You know, they have a nice hairline and they choose to use adhesives when they bond their wigs down.
Oh, that's good. Now that,
I'm gonna say this.
that could be-
I don't have a problem with it if it's properly done and not done for a long period of time.
Mhm.
Because what happens is you can do it, but then I don't want you consistently doing it. And what I mean by that, like with my clients, now if you don't have a hairline, then hey, I'm all for it. You can take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off, put it on. But then if you do have a hairline, once we do it, okay, within 2 weeks, I want you back, and then I don't want you to put it back on for at least another 4 weeks, or maybe even 6, just depending on what we're doing. I don't need you to do it consistently because that weakens your hairline. And then once that adhesive keep getting on your hairline, and it's not properly removed,
Right.
you're actually pulling that hairline out.
Mhm.
And then the stuff that you're using to remove it, you're drying that hairline out.
Absolutely.
So, you got to take in consideration of that, because you are using a lot of the removers do have alcohol and stuff in it. A lot of the solvents do have alcohol and stuff in it. So you have to take in consideration as a professional the things that you're actually using on that person's hairline and the things that they're actually doing. And actually, even if they at home, because sometimes they might lift when within that 2 weeks, they're not coming to you and what they might be doing. So you have to take in consideration with all of that and just be mindful, like, okay, you make sure you let them know professionally what needs to be done and give this honest opinion, like, okay, I need you to do this. And if you don't do this and don't follow my guidelines, this possibly can happen. So they just have to be, you just have to be upfront and let them know, like, okay, this possibly can happen and I need you to do this so this won't happen or you won't have a hairline.
But you know something, I want you to think of this too. This is what came to mind when you said that. Even though we're professionals and we're supposed to be doing whatever service, whatever information that we give them has to be on a professional level. My thing is, even when people come to me, and I have to make them aware if I see that they're losing hair
Mhm.
because they've been doing it, they've been doing it. And, if I don't say anything to them, you know, and I just keep covering it up or keep doing
Right.
what
That's
I'm
right.
doing, what I need to
Mhm.
do, then to me, I'm doing them a
Disservice.
disservice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they get to the point where they're really looking at their scalp and they see that their hair is gone,
Right.
Mhm.
they're not gonna look at the fact that they were doing it and so and so was doing
Right.
it. They're gonna
Right.
look at the last person
Person that did their hair.
possibly
That's
would
good.
be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. We need to be honest.
Mhm.
People
Of what we
first-
see.
When I do a
They do.
consultation, if I see that
Anything. A
neck and
bump.
fat over here,
I see a pimple. I
you
see a
can say, hey, are
Yeah.
you aware of this, that, and the other?
That's it.
And no, I didn't know that was there. Make sure you put it in your notes.
That's it.
I saw this and I saw that. So if at any time somebody will come back to you, you have record that hey, I
Mhm.
brought this to your attention or whatever. But my thing is, if you coming in, you got a nice hairline, and you came in with a lace front. I'm just gonna say that since we're talking about the glue, or even a quick weave, and I take it off, and I realize your hair is kind of you got pretty nice hair up under here, but you're thinning really bad.
Mhm.
At that point, when I remove it, I'm gonna make sure I turn you around, let you
What
see
you
it.
see, what I
Right.
see.
And I say, look, this right here is
Mhm.
causing you some damage. It's up to you, but
Right.
I'm gonna suggest that you don't.
That you don't do it. Right.
Now, the reason why we're trying to bring everything back into its perspective, because somewhere down the line, people have been doing styles and things and putting stuff on people. And like Marguerite was saying, we're trying to bring to their attention, hey, you don't need to do this at night. Don't put this
Exactly.
on your head.
Mhm.
This happens. This happens. You know, because people are now finding out their hair is gone. And they wonder why nobody never told them. Well, she
Mhm.
didn't say nothing to me, or he didn't say nothing to me.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
I'm saying something.
Right.
Okay, because we've got to change the dynamics of what we're seeing.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because people are losing their and their hairline going from here to here.
Right.
Y'all know it's ridiculous. Your hairline way back here. I'm just gonna put a lace front on. Ain't nobody gonna know.
And
Somebody
then,
gonna, huh? What did you say?
no, I was just gonna say, and since we are trichologists and hair loss practitioners, and the reason why we're having this conversation is because now you're talking about the alopecia that's considered to be traction alopecia.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Things that we're
exactly.
talking about, right? And
Mhm.
traction alopecia is one of the most reversible alopecias of them
Alopecias.
all.
Right there.
Right.
But it's tied to the emotion of the behaviors. So when
That's
we're
it.
talking about what people are doing, like, wearing the stocking cap too long, the band around then I remember being in a salon when quick weaves were really big. And I would see the ladies putting on the lace fronts at that time. This was maybe 10 years or plus ago. And I mean, they were shaving the hairline back. That was a part of
Pushing
the
it back.
process
Mhm.
back then.
What
And
is
so
it?
here it is, 10, 15 years later, and you're talking about, I have traction alopecia, or there's no hair there. So we're just bringing this out tonight so that you can be looking at your behavior. So when you come
Right.
to a professional and we're giving you advice, by the time you get to us, we're providing solutions.
Yeah.
So
I
you're
love that.
paying us to
Yeah.
assist you. And sometimes it's emotional because people are tied to their behaviors. And so as a trichologist, as hair loss practitioners, we deal with you holistically. So when we're giving you the treatment plan, the therapy plan that is necessary, we're doing it because you're tired. You want a solution. And sometimes in many cases, it may be too late, but we'll work with what we have and build and make some solutions for you based on what you have. So this is why I wanted to kind of shape the conversation and say, hey, this is all behavior. And this is all the willingness of the person
Person. Yeah.
to put in the work to get the hair to grow back if that's what they want.
Now
But
that's
you know what? I was talking with somebody one time. I was with a study group, and we was just talking about different importance of taking care of your hair, making sure you have healthy hair. And one lady said she going One lady just said, I don't want to know what's going on with my hair. And I'm like, and everybody else in the group, like, what? You don't want to know that you got some damages going on? You know, you want to just bypass that? That don't make no sense to me. You know, then eventually later on in life, then here you go, you're going to be like, you know, going to somebody and be like, you know, this is what's going on with my hair, but you didn't want to take care at the beginning. You know, you didn't want to just nip it in the bud at the beginning. You know, how can somebody not want to know what's going on with their hair?
And that's
I'm
where we step
confused.
in. That's where we step in, like you said, as the professional, because some of it is mechanical and some of it's internal. So when you
Right.
talk to them about the internal effects of them neglecting it, then that puts the ball back into their space. And that's what you were
Right.
talking about, Dr. Robinson. You know, it's up to us, the professional. I remember taking a training out in California back in like 2012. And the trichologist that was speaking at that time, he said, as a stylist, as a professional, your client may come in with their shoulders down and, you know, they're looking for help. But when they walk out, they should be walking straight.
Wow.
And you should
Have
be
that confidence back.
seeing them,
Mhm.
right,
Yeah.
because you are able to see at the top of their head.
Right.
Nobody's looking forward into a mirror to see what's going on. And many times, because of them covering their hair and their scalp, they know that something's going on. But when they see you week to week, every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever that is, you have to step up and say
Right.
something. They're paying you to provide more than just the aesthetics of doing hair.
Right.
We're
Mhm.
talking about hair leading to it being as important as your health care.
Right.
Now, the mechanical things that you do, yes, those are things that can be reversed. But in some cases, yes, ma'am, you do need to be concerned about, you know, what's going on with your hair, because that's an alarm, there's an alert, there's some kind of some attention that's needed. So
Right.
it's us, you know, just kind of shaping that conversation and shaping that mindset. Because a lot of people say, look, I'm gonna take that wig off and that's it. And they're not attached to hair because they have never been. They either couldn't do their
Right.
hair, they don't like to do anything to it. But and that's fine, because those clients are out there, those people are out there, but you still need to get your scalp checked.
Right. Right.
That's it.
You
I
need to
Mhm.
want
see
to
a
read
professional.
something that Maurice wrote. Hi, Maurice, by the way. Maurice Coates,
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Hill. And I see Remy's on here. I want to say this. He said, this is what he wrote. He said, change the behavior and help the growth. You
Mm.
know,
That's the truth. That's
this
the truth.
everything there's a root to every situation, everything.
Yep.
It has to start somewhere, even if we're talking about hereditary, this, that, and the other. And
Mhm.
I have found out, being a certified trichologist, is that when people come see me, sometimes just listening to how they eat, their
Mhm.
habits of how they prepare their foods, and all of that explains a lot of their health issues.
Yep.
Mhm.
Think about it. If I'm preparing, I don't mean fixing, if I'm preparing my food a certain way,
Mhm.
and I teach it to my daughter, who teaches it to her daughter, and it
Mhm.
goes on and on and on.
Mhm.
And we all develop hypertension, and we got to take high blood pressure. It could be something so as simple as changing the way great grandmama and grandma before her did those glucose
Exactly.
stuff. Now, it took me years to get to that place to understand that concept,
Right.
because my family has issues like everybody else's families. But come to find out, it came from poor dieting.
Mhm.
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 And it goes back to, like what Shanae was saying, that mindset,
Yeah, mine. Yeah.
concept of thinking is a result of a lot of issues. Why my edge is gone. You know what I'm saying? Because, being stressed, you can lose all this.
Mhm.
Serious. Worried about things you can't. Okay. So I like that what he said about the behavior.
Mhm.
Sometimes you have to put a halt to it and say, hey, yeah, they had these issues, but it's not going to be in me. We got a caller, y'all. I got to answer this. Y'all ready? Let's see what they
Mhm.
Hello. get them. They need to be unmuted. You need to unmute yourself, please. Caller.
There you go.
Oh, hello.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm doing fine. This is P2P.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you for calling in.
Thank
Could
you for
you?
having me.
Well, great. Could you tell us why you're calling us today?
I was calling because I had a couple of concern questions. I've been looking up all of your when you broadcast a lot. I like what you've been saying, and a lot of the things that you've been saying has been kind of happening with what I've had going on as far as with my hair. And I just wanted to ask a professional, like their opinion on how I should like take care of my hair. 'Cause I have dreadlocks. I'm from the Birmingham area,
Okay.
and the person I had like doing my hair recently, I've been like experiencing, I guess a little. I wouldn't say hair loss, but like some of my hair is like considered like dead hair. It's been kind of falling off. But I wanted to ask you a couple questions. Like, okay, when I go to sleep, like what should I use on my head when I go to sleep? As far as like any hair care products or anything I should wrap my hair with to keep my dreadlocks from like from me losing hair.
Okay. Professionals?
One of the things you can use, like if you were listening earlier, we were talking about head coverings when you sleep. So I think it's the things that you commonly hear for females do transfer for men as well. So the satin or silk pillowcase. And then
Okay.
depending on the length of your locks, you may want to look into a product called the Lock Sock. And
Lock.
yes,
Mhm.
familiar with it. It almost looks like a sock where you put your locks into it and you kind of pull it
Okay.
in. So it's a complete covering for your locks while you're sleeping or while you're in the house just lounging around. Same thing like we said earlier in terms of taking wigs off. You want to make sure that you cover your hair and protect it at all times, especially when you're not out and about or people are not necessarily seeing you. So that is a great product that I have suggested to my clients over the years, and they do come in silk and satin. Unfortunately, they do come in cotton, but we don't want any of that. But the silk or satin is always the best bet for you, and the Lock Sock, I believe, is something that could definitely benefit you if you are starting to see shedding of hair or breakage with your locks. Now, I'll ask you this: Are you saying you're losing hair from the lock shaft or from the root you're seeing?
It'll be more towards, I'll say towards the tips.
Ends. Okay.
Towards the tips. It's kind of thin,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like eventually you have to just either pull it off, or when I put my hair in a ponytail, normally when I go to pull the rubber band out, I kind of have like a couple of like a piece of my dreads, like from the tips, it'll kind of come off.
So one of the things that I think you have to keep in mind is the hair always at the end is the grown hair. It's the adult hair, right? It's the hair that's been there the longest. So just like over time, if you think of it like people, as we get older, we tend to get a little weaker, right? The hair
Okay.
at the end is a little bit weaker than the hair at the root. And
Mhm.
especially if you've done a lot of styling over the years, if you've done color over the years, this is the hair that has been constantly worked with, constantly colored, treated, manipulated, styled. It does get weak. And so you just have to, I think all things in moderation. If you decide to color your locks, you want to make sure that you constantly treat them and make sure that their hair stays nice and strong.
All right.
If
Okay.
you
See, that's going into my next question.
okay,
My next question was, I wanted to know, am I damaging my hair when I rinse color? Because I have a lot of colors in my hair, and I want to know, am I damaging my hair from continuous colors, or like, is there a certain process that I need to go through or tell my hairstylist before, like, to keep my hair from, because I suffer from, I guess it dries out a lot. and I suffer from dandruff. But like you said, I have a lot of colors in my hair, so I need to know, like, once I get my hair washed, is there a certain way that I should get it washed due to the color? Or
Well, I'm gonna let one of the ladies answer that because it looks like we're all nodding our heads and everybody. So, anybody want to pick that up?
I'll add
Okay.
a little something real quick. When caller, thank you for coming on the show today. And when you were speaking earlier, I did write down moisture, because when you were talking about
Right.
loss of hair, I
Mhm.
wrote that down from the beginning of your conversation. And so now you're talking about color, and color can be drying.
Right.
And what a good suggestion would be, and it may cost you an additional price, but if your stylist can start giving you steam treatments to infuse that moisture and that's moisture, and then hydration is from the inside. So if you can increase your water intake,
Mhm.
that would help, and that will help combat your situation in both ends, one on the inside with the hydration, and then the outside, your stylist, like I said, it's a treatment, so they can provide a steam treatment,
Mhm.
and put some oils in there that'll help bring that vitality back to your locks. One of the questions I wanted to ask, but you mentioned that the loss of hair is happening at the ends,
Mhm.
is do you twirl your locks? Sometimes I've seen individuals and they would twirl, and sometimes you don't even realize it, because it's like this behavior or this habit that is unbeknownst to you. That's just something to consider, if you're doing anything that will
Right.
help further the damage.
yeah, I had a consultation. Not to cut you off, I had a consultation with Dr. Suzette Robinson, and she was telling me that the way that my stylist was, how you said palm rolling, how she was rolling my dreads, she was kind of going against the way that they was originally done.
Oh.
And then it was like she was kind of doing them too tight. So she was like kind of giving me pointers on what to tell her, like she was doing them a little too tight, so they became very, very skinny. And
Mm.
over time, that became breakage
Right.
because it was so thin.
There
Mhm.
you go. There you go. So it wasn't you, but it was because of the way that it was being treated. So I would just say that to combat some of that dryness, consider asking your stylist to see if they have steam treatments available to you, and I'd pass it off to another professional.
I have a question. I have a question. How often do you get your hair twisted?
Mhm.
I try to go for at least, I was told through my consultation that I was supposed to at least get it done every 2 weeks. But I can't say that I stick to the regimen of every 2 weeks. So, I mean,
Okay,
it's kind
and
of it'd probably be like every three to a month, which is kind of bad because hair start to grow together sometimes.
Okay,
Mm.
and how long are your locks?
They're probably like if I had to estimate, if I was to let my hair down, they're probably past my breastplate, my chest plate.
Okay.
Like my
And do you ever let them air dry?
no, ma'am. I always sit under a dryer.
Okay, you always sit on the dryer, even when you take a shower, you don't never let them get wet, let them air dry
I
at all?
thought you were talking about when I get them retwisted.
No, I'm saying like
No.
when,
Sometimes never let them air dry. I always use a towel, wrap my hair up. But one thing I don't do, that I really don't wash my hair. Like,
okay.
I kind of wait till I go to, because I have semi-permanent, I have 2 green dreads in the front of my hair, like in front of my head. And they're semi-permanent, so once I wash my hair, they kind of go dull. So I kind of don't wash my hair until it's time for me to go get my hair done again.
Okay, and do you know exactly what type of shampoo she's using on you and what she's using to twist you?
No, ma'am, that was going to be one of my questions too, because I know your company has products.
Right, that's one that's one thing you definitely
Get
want to find
into-
out what she's using on you, to see if that's one of the reasons why your dreads are actually drying out, to see, while you drying, especially with the color, you know, because she's probably using the product that she's shampooing you with the conditioner, and then the product that she's twisting you with on top of that. So that's one of the reasons. And that's why I was asking you if you ever had your hair wet and let it dry. Because a lot of times, you know, I know especially guys, when they get in the shower, let it get wet, and then they go outside, let it air dry. That's another thing too, especially with the ends being real brillo, they'll actually stop popping off. So that's why I was asking if you let it stay wet and it air dries.
Well, to answer the question, I'm kind of oblivious when it comes to me getting my hair done. I kind of go into a male state of mind, and I just kind of get on music or Facebook or something. I really don't pay attention to it, but I see I need to, though, from what you guys are telling me as professionals. I value your opinion, and I see I need to start taking more like observation when it comes to my hair, because it's mine at the end of the day. It's something that you should take care of.
And also,
I wanted to
you
say,
were talking about the color. So I wanted to ask what type of color. I know you said semi-permanent, so, and I heard you say green, so that means we had to pre-light and lift you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, man. I had to get it bleached first, and then they applied the color.
Okay, so one of the things that you can
in my hair in some sort of red. It was red, but over the time it turned like a festive color.
Okay. One of the things I was going to share with you, you were asking so far as products that would help with your dryness or pretty much overall health, especially with you having color. You can ask your stylist, and you can also, you know, Google and become familiar with a product called Olaplex. This is a bonding system that your stylist would use for her chemical processes, for her or his chemical processes. And this is not a treatment. This is a system that rebuilds the bonds as you are receiving that chemical service. So lightener can be really harsh and drying on our hair as you're experiencing. And so this system allows, it goes in and pretty much reconstructs the hair strand so that it rebuilds it and builds it back up to where it's retaining its moisture, it's retaining its curl pattern. This is a product that you can use, your stylist can use as a standalone treatment, even if they're not coloring your hair. And then they have take-home products for you that your stylist can retail to you. You cannot find this in a regular retail or beauty supply store. So you would have to, you know, of course, have a conversation with the stylist, and hopefully, you know, they're aware of it or they'll find out about it. But that is an option that you can use to help with the overall health of your hair.
Okay.
And I wanted to put a little bit of I always suggest, even though you have dreads, I think I'm big on making sure the hair is moisture, whether it's dread or not, and keeping your ends trimmed. So even though you have dreads, it's not gonna harm you to get your ends trimmed. And then a lot of times, depending on the length of the dreads, it has weight. It weighs your hair down. It's like they were saying earlier, it got the old hair coming towards the end, that need to be removed, period. And that's one of the reasons why it may be popping like that, because, you know, it's weak. And so you knowing that it's weak, it's not gonna, I'd rather to trim it than not allow it to pop. So if you can get it trimmed, you know, 6 to 8 weeks, that's the average trimming time. And that was actually one of the next PowerPoints that we was gonna speak on before we leave the day, is trimming. And, you know, because some people don't believe in trimming, they don't know the importance of trimming. And it's very, very important, because the hair starts to split and it starts to go up the hair shaft. So if you can talk with your stylist and see if you can get on board and make sure that you know, keep them trimmed, keep it moist, you know, and because you say it's coming out, it's not gonna harm it for you to be able to get a strengthening treatment, like the girl said earlier.
So as professionals, from your opinion, How often should I get my hair washed?
For
Well, we
dreads,
recommend that you cleanse your scalp at least. I mean,
And,
well, we recommend once a week, not to extend more than 2 weeks.
Okay.
Can I
All right.
read, excuse me, Carl, can I read something right quickly? We
Sure.
have another professional that's on our live, and I just kind of want to, and it goes along with what Marguerite just said. Dr. Remy is on here, and she said, if you never trimmed your locks, it can cause breakage as well. You can clip or trim your locks and make them look neat and well groomed. I totally agree. And
That's it.
when I read that and I listened to Marguerite, because a lot of times people don't like to get their hair trimmed. They feel like it's growing a certain, but you got to remember, like, and I think it was Pam that says a lot of this need to come off. You
Mhm.
know, it's just like pruning. When you're doing those of you that plant flowers, I'm not one of those people. I just heard people talk about pruning, but I know at certain points. So I'm letting y'all know, don't send me no flowers. But when people are doing, when growth is taking place, you got to take the dead off in order for things to live. Okay.
exactly.
And so, caller, I am really impressed with you calling in.
I appreciate the knowledge because I was
and-
oblivious to a lot of things.
yeah. So
And
please
then I
feel
just wanted to let him know, do she know how to interlock your hair?
I've had some. Is that when they used to crochet needles?
Yes. Because like what I would do, if your hair is to your breastplate, I would actually have you get them interlock. It do last a lot longer, depending on what you do for a living. You know, if you're not like a sweater or anything like that, I would actually tell you to interlock it and maybe, you know, get them done once a month is what I would do if you're not a sweater like that.
Okay. I have one more question, but it's for Dr. Suzette.
okay. Yes.
My sister previously ordered some of your products, and she had some oil that smelled like peppermint. And I tried some on my hair, and I loved it. Like the smell of it and the way that it made my hair shine. I was trying to see like how would I be able to purchase some of those, like those products that you have. That's why I was trying to say earlier for my hairstylist, I would rather use the products that you guys have than to go to the stores and just be basically shopping randomly for things that I don't know about. I'm kind of comfortable with how you guys handle yourself, and I feel you have my best interests at heart when it comes to my hair care. So I would rather just buy my products from you guys.
But let me tell you, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been my clarifying shampoo that has peppermint in it. You can go to my website, which is wigsbysuzette.com, and there's a section on there now that just been uploaded where you can order and look at some of the products that I offer. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Can I just say that hair care is the new self-care. So I hope it's nothing else. That you're walking away empowered and you have a new look, a new outlook on taking better care and being in tune with your hair care, because this is equivalent to your self-care. And I know you like to keep yourself groomed, and so we appreciate your questions and you calling this evening.
I appreciate you answering my questions, taking the time out.
Thank you so much.
Well, you guys have a blessed day. I appreciate it. I'm going to still be tuning in.
Well, thank you.
Well,
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So I want to talk a little bit about the importance of trimming your hair. That's one of the points, and that's one of the things that people don't realize, that damage your hair damaged from not getting it treated. I mean, getting it trimmed. I'm sorry. Your hair it causes split ends. It starts to move up the hair shaft. You know, you guys, what's your take? I mean, that's like a pet peeve for me.
It's
Really,
one of
and
mine
honestly,
too.
to trim, to make sure those ends are trimmed. They don't realize, you know, they don't realize how important it is to keep the ends trimmed. They just want to hold on to what they have
With
that you
that,
can see straight through. They don't
right.
realize
Ex-
that is not healthy at all. So, and it's more damaging than it is anything else, you know. And so, can we kind of talk a little bit about what you guys think about making sure the ends is trimmed 6 to 8 weeks? I mean, we can stretch it if they at a place where they really don't want to trim their hair. But let's stretch it to 8 weeks. Can we stretch it to 8 weeks?
Let me tell you something. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, along with you. And I think Shanae seen me. I think that was the second time, Shanae, we did a show in Charlotte. And actually I was doing the model's hair, and I pretty much, I was like, well, I can't do your hair, because I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and your hair need to be cut. You're not about to say I did it.
You can't say cut because you scare them. You gotta say trim. When you say cut, it's a different ball game.
It needed to be cut.
Okay.
And
I think you guys think about it this way. I think in sometimes, and I'm that person. Sometimes I have to try to think like a client. And I try to think, why wouldn't you want to get it cut? But then think about it. Some of them have had bad experiences.
And she did, and that's what it was. She had a bad experience.
Or people have said that they're going to trim.
Right, and that's what it was.
Difference between a trim.
Yes, ma'am, and a haircut.
And it's a big difference.
Sometimes I have to really just, as my mom would say, I have to get in your eye gate to say, hey, explain to me, why wouldn't you want to get a trim? And sometimes they'll say, well, look, the last person said they were going to cut my hair way up here. I have to assure them sometimes, look, I'm going to show you what your hair looks like. Now, that's quite a bit. You may not want it all, but you're going to please allow me to trim some. And sometimes you may have to do it in phases.
That's what I do.
Because see, you've got the we don't know what everybody has gone through before they got into your chair.
Right.
And you know, so I'm like, I'm not gonna argue with you, but I am gonna.
Right. I'm like, okay.
Only way I can get your hair to look like it needs to, and to grow even better, we got to take these out. And sometimes it's like sitting down and having a conversation with them and really allowing them to express what has happened to them, the reason why they don't want to have it. Then, you know, just that way, sometimes it makes it even easier. And then you're going to have some, I don't care what you say, they're not going to and that's fine, because I'm going to tell you, if we can't do nothing, this how this going to look. Okay? I'm going to put it in my, I suggested a trim. She didn't want it. So if she comes back and said, well, girl, my hair was all fuzzy and stuff. It don't matter to me, because I done covered Suzette. You see what I'm saying? But see, that's why we're trying to educate people, bring them back to the, and plus they got to get where they trust us again.
Yeah, because it's not going to hold a style. Like, I can camouflage, and when I just got to a point to it, I'm not camouflaging no more. I'm not. It's not holding anything, and I will get the mirror and show you, like, if I can see through it. There's the length is gone. You're trying to hold on to something that is not there. Like, let it go. It just let it go. And then, you know, and you have to fight sometimes. And I'm just like, stop holding on to something that is not there. It'll come back. It is hair. It'll come back. It's gone. Like, and I know sometimes they have, you know, and what's name? She had a traumatic, and I understood, because when she showed us the picture, what her hair was, into what it was. When I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I understand. You should have been mad because she went from A to Z. I don't know where y'all mixed that up at. And I understood because you asked for a trim. You got a complete, a whole complete look over. So
something that Maurice says right here, it says education is key.
Mhm.
it is.
So
It
education
is.
is key. And y'all ain't nothing wrong. And then you know what? I know people, time is money for a lot of people, but you got to factor in whatever you're doing. You have to factor in some time to kind of educate your people.
Mhm.
Because you're not gonna just sit them in the chair and just say, hey, I'm gonna do A, B, C, D. And
Right, exactly.
they don't have a clue what you're doing, how you're doing it.
Wow.
No, they deserve so much more than that. So
And then they have to understand what's the difference. Because a lot of times they don't know what the difference is between a trim and a cut. And I'm like, it's a difference because it's a different in price. It's a different in price between a trim and a cut. The same thing for as bangs and they want the swoop. They was like, I want bangs. They really don't want bangs. They want, the swoop. So you definitely have to have the terminology. You have to make sure that
Communication.
for pictures, like, okay, if I go off what you say, that's not really what you want. But when you ask for the picture, like, okay, that's not what you asked for.
You see,
So
that's
you have to ask the like, let me see a picture because you said you wanted a trim. This is a whole different look. This is not a trim, my dear. Your hair is 6 inches. Now you're talking about going to an inch. That's not a trim.
yeah, and this is why I have accepted that, and it's been in this cosmetology industry for so long that I think stylists, professionals, we don't realize that we're coaches. That's why I had to kind of move into being that coach and get paid as a coach, because I've been doing it all along through education. And that's another thing. As stylists, as professionals, if you want your business to build, then you have to be the best person to convey messages and information as an educator, because you have to educate them based on what you learned in the book that built your business. They have no idea.
None. That's it.
So
you have to teach them. You have to let them know the difference. So that way, when they go in, they understand. You just can't go off what someone say because the communication has to be together. You have to actually be able to communicate with the client and the stylist. If there's no communication and level, if you hear and you have to communicate. You have to have that line of communication and comprehension of understanding what the client want, and then if you can actually execute. If you can't execute, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Then you throw the wrench in the wheel.
I'm not going to.
But Marguerite, back to what you said, it is essential that we educate our people and tell them how important it is to get them the trim. And I think the more we educate them and enlighten them on how important it is and how often we will be doing it and the reason why we're doing it, I think that's going to change the dynamics. If we start just explaining things kind of, in my world, explaining things kind of make it better when you're trying to persuade people or get them to understand what you're doing.
Well, one thing I do, I talk my people. I talk things out to my people. I like when I'm doing something, I talk it out to them. I'm doing this because I talk to them. I love educating my clients on what's taking place. You get some people, and sometimes, like I say, you really need this done, and and sometimes it's not in people's budget right then and there. And sometimes I'll be like, we really need to do this, and this is what I'm going to do for you today. But for, the future, this is when we need to do at this given time. So, I always try to talk them out and allow them to know what's taking place.
That's good. That's good.
You know what?
Go ahead.
And this is not the monkey wrench.
What?
But
look, you be putting us on pins and needles.
A lot of what is said I think, it goes back to a previous topic in building the trust. If we
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
trust between the stylist and the client,
Mm-hmm.
really, or I'll say in my opinion, or in my experience, they don't have a problem. I have gotten to the point, and I think it's again because of the level of trust, which goes back to the environment that you set, how you educate them. And once they really get to feel that you are not just the authority, but you do have their best interests at heart, honestly, at this point, many of my clients, I don't even have to say, I'm going to do a trim.
Mm-hmm.
I go in my drawer, I get my shears, I get my comb, and I do what I need to do. But we have gotten to the point where they understand and where
Right.
they trust that whatever you're doing for the betterment of the group,
American.
Right.
right? Not that I'm deciding, oh girl, you got 12 inches. I'm about to take you down to 6.
Right.
I want you to have a different style. That is not how we operate. That is not the guides that we operate in as a professional style.
Mhm.
And so it just kind of came to my mind. It ties in all of the different topics that we've been talking about, the
Mhm.
professionalism and, building the trust and the things that we need to do to maintain healthy hair and scalp. Once they understand that that is who we are and that is what we embody in ourselves in our business, then they will be more apt to trust us and say that's fine. If you tell them, well, you know what, it's time for your trim. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, and because ultimately my explanation always is you either going to lose it voluntarily or
Or in water.
Right.
which one do you want?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually my last. If I
Okay.
feel like I have to, we're going back and forward, especially like with a newer client, and I tell them, I say, okay, well, when was your last trim? Oh, it was, 6 months ago. Would you like to get a trim today? No. Okay. My suggestion is that you really consider getting a trim,
Mm-hmm.
if not today, but by your next visit, because
Mm-hmm.
you're either going to lose it voluntarily, and you tell me which one you want.
Mm-hmm.
And,
That's a fan moment right there.
and
You supposed to pop the fan. Come on.
that's really it, because they have to understand that it is going to happen, and
That's
we
fine.
all would rather be in
That's
control.
true.
And I
Right.
think a lot of times that's really what it is. It's a control factor. They feel like I need to be able to control what my hair is doing, right? So
Right.
no,
Mhm.
you can't cut
That's
it.
true.
Leave it so that it looks like Venetian blinds, vertical blinds, and you can still see it. Leave it, and we're telling them I can see through them blinds, but it's nighttime. I don't need to see it, So I need to trim this away. But again, it just comes back, a lot of it to me is
Right.
how we do our business, how we treat our clients, how we educate them, and then how we build that level of trust.
Wow. This is great. This is good. This is good.
Mhm.
Well, Miss Marguerite.
Well, I think we have come to an end tonight, ladies. It's about that time, and I truly appreciate all the listeners and all of the call-ins and all of the information that we shared with you guys tonight. Thank you for tuning in with us, and we have some shout outs we have to make tonight. And we just want to thank you once again for hanging in with us each and every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Let's talk about it with Dr. Suzette and her special guest. So, Dr. Suzette, we're going to hand over the baton to you.
Well, thank you. This platform could not be if it had not been for you all. We originally started out, I think it's been about 2 or 3 years I've been doing this. I started out doing one segment on Let's Talk About It Tuesday. And it ended up people ask me, are you gonna be back on next Tuesday? I was like, well, I don't know if I got anything to talk about. And I kept doing it, and it has evolved to this. And when I take a week off or don't come in on a Tuesday, people think I'm trying to be funny, but sometimes I don't have anything to talk about. But I've been blessed to have these wonderful, educated people that are with me. They're very knowledgeable about things that we talk about. I am so blessed because there are things I have questions about. I can collab with them and get the answers that I need that will help me. And so that's what this is all about. Let's Talk About It Tuesday is a platform for us, if we have businesses, if we have products, anything that we want other people to know about, this is a great platform for it. And so I am so, once again, thankful for each and every one that's here. I'm grateful for the audience that tune in each Tuesday. I'm grateful for hearing from you all. So we're thankful for that. And also, I want to say today is a very special day for me. Today is my anniversary.
Yeah.
I have been married to Mr. Donnie Robinson for 36 years.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Awesome. Happy anniversary.
When I thought about it, let's talk about it too. Oh my God, it's our anniversary. But my husband's so, he's the type of person want to make sure things still flow like it should. And he was like, hey, you can still do this. Hey, what we're going to do, we'll do on the weekend or whatever. So I'm grateful to him for that. And I am thankful for 36 years. We've been together longer than 36 because we went to high school together. And yeah, so we were high school sweethearts, and God has blessed us to see many, many years together. And for that reason, we're very thankful. And I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, because you know what? You can't forget the people that help you and help promote you. Our people that help us. First, before I do that, I'm going to give a shout out to each business that's being represented tonight. And we have Dr. Pam Hill, who has her business. And if you look behind her head, she has her logo, which is Healthy Hair Incorporated. And I think in our message, the part, all her information is being displayed in there. Please, y'all reach out to these professionals. We have Shanae Starnes, who I call a business in a box, because she can cover a lot of things that when we're trying to start businesses, she has a lot of knowledge on how to professionally put your business together and to keep it alive. See, it's one thing to want a business and say you have it, but it's another thing to keep it fed and it keep thriving. And she is that person. So we're looking as years and time go by for her to come from here to here, because she has so much to offer. And I'm so thankful that she's here. So we have I call him Dr. B, Dr. Broadnax. He is when I say he covers a lot of information, he keeps me rooted and grounded. He really does. He don't even know it. A lot of times if I'm discussing something with him, I'll look at him and I may not have it like correct or something. He'll say, well, Dr. Suzette, let's do this, or we need to do that. And he says it in such a loving way to you. You just say, okay. But he brings a lot of light to what I'm doing. And he helps me understand the importance of what I'm doing. And I'm telling you, if you ever want to have a wig making class, male units, I'm not exaggerating.
Sure ain't.
He is the one. I'm serious. And you know what? I can adventure to say in dealing with our online school, he's gonna have some classes in there, because some of y'all need to take these classes. Because I've seen his work.
He's coming back to Fredericksburg.
All right now. It's phenomenal. So we keep him, he keeps us encouraged. We keep him encouraged. But I do want you all to see some of his great work. Okay. And then we have Marguerite, who so eloquently handled her business tonight. This was a topic that she brought to us as a group. And she brought us some information that we really need to pay attention to. And I'm telling you all, if you miss some of this, go back and do the replay. Share this. This is one thing we've got to do as a people. Learn how to pull each other up. But Marguerite I often tell her, she don't know half of what's in her. She really don't. But one thing I can truly say, she has a heart for her clients. She has a heart for what she does, and she does it well. And if I had a hat on tonight, I'd take it off to you because you did a job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So to Carmelita Stevens, who is, I call her rock, because sometimes when I talk to her, she say things without really knowing she said them to me. And it be solid stuff. It's like this. Sometimes you can be looking at people. I call her rock. Oh, am I echoing? Somebody must be turning your volume down. But anyway, she when we talk sometimes it's the small things she say to me that have such a big impact. It's like this, going from one level to the next level. And for that, Carmelita, I'm so grateful. I could not do this. Pam, you know how I feel about you. And y'all, I'm gonna let the cat out the bag. Pam is a certified trichologist. She has totally completed everything. This girl is moving up. Now she's getting ready to go forth in another degree. I ain't gonna let the cat out of the bag on that. She'll tell y'all that herself. But I'm gonna tell you, when she first started, she said to me, she said, like Susan, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I said, okay. And you know what? She didn't lie. She did it. And so I say that to each one on this panel because we all are connected somewhere. There could not be a Dr. Suzette if she didn't have each and every one of you on here. There could not be a Let's Talk About It Tuesday if you did not tune in. And I want to say thank you for that. Okay. And to the people that help support us, which is Isabella Graphics and more. I want y'all to check her out. I'm gonna put a link on here. She has one of the most beautiful websites. Okay, if you like blinged out shirts, she got you. She got you. And so she does a lot of graphic work for me, and I'm very grateful for that. We have what's the other one, Mr. Robinson? Oh, Pretty Gloss Princess. Uh-oh, I'm messing up. And she's the youngest of us all, but she inspires us all to do more. She has her own line of lip gloss that's made from all natural products. She has lashes. I got some on. Hopefully I'm doing her some justice with them. But she's doing very well. Her link is gonna be in it. Y'all check people out. We got a beauty supply store that makes sure everything we need is there. And that's Platinum Beauty here in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, I'm saying this to my panel. If y'all have anything that you want to advertise during this time, hey, make sure we get it so we can do shout outs and make sure people know this is our platform and this is why we use it. Check us out on YouTube. Like us, you guys. Check us out. Somebody asked me, why don't you do how-to? I don't do how-to videos. I'm sorry. You have to take classes for that. I don't do how-tos, but I will show you what I started with and what I ended with, but I will not show you that wonderful mixture in between, okay? But you can take classes. We do have P2P Institute and, no, I said that wrong. P2P Certification and Training Institute, where you can take training. Okay, check out some of our links. Please check out the institute that Shanae has. I mean, I'm serious, y'all. We need to get educated. Thank you, professionals that tuned in today. Looking forward to seeing y'all on next Tuesday as we come together again for another fantastic topic. If you have questions, please drop them in and call in. We'll leave the number. Call in just like the caller did, okay? And thank you once again. We're going to sign off and we're going to say live. Why not?
The anniversary.
It sure is. Oh, I love it. I like it. Look at you. I'll stay on. Don't hang up.